China to me is absolutely not a communist society. It has a communist party, which is not communist. It's the most capitalist society in the world. It is a capitalist society with ideal conditions for human exploitation. Why? Because they have one party system which claims to be communist, but it doesn't take care of its own people. It has created millions upon millions of people who are captive labor. Now, think of it. Pakistanis always tell me about China model, and I tell them, here is the China model. Okay. You remove about 25 million people, the very peasants who had brought about the revolution, from their natural living conditions, and impoverish them, right? Then you bring them to the cities and create huge buildings of captive labor, right? And then you sell that labor to global corporations. That is rise of China. Okay? That's why India's rise is more miraculous, because India did it while still being a democracy, right? No other post colonial nation, and I will say it unequivocally, has accomplished what India did, because the problem of entering that level of capital is the price. There is always a human cost. And only those, right now, the global economy has reached a kind of mechanism where you have to write off a certain part of your population to actually succeed. And China was able to do that. So, first of all, they are not communist states, because communism by its very nature was internationalist, but Stalin killed that, right? When he made it into a nationalist thing, right? But two, there are certain promises that communism makes. One of it is that everyone would be taken care of. You will not be dependent on wage labor to feed your family. How is China communist when I am dependent on wage labor to take care of my children? So let's dispel this idea that China is somehow communist. Okay, it's not. Right? It's a capitalistic society with the worst kind of draconian capitalism you can ever see. This is what capital wants to be. This is what Trump wants, right? Workers with no voice of their own, captive labor, right? People with no rights. This is what capital becomes, right? If you unleash it and run it with a fascist government, right? This is what it accomplishes, right? I don't think so. That is a sustainable model, right? Because there is no way you can keep 1 billion people while they are part of commodity production into a level where they remain subservient and remain married to this chauvinistic idea of nationalism without force, right? If you bring about real democracy in China, I'm not saying their economy will collapse. What I'm saying is China will stop being the place where everyone wants to develop industry, because what brought the industry there was cheap labor, and then the infrastructure was developed. So the contradiction is there, but just remind yourself how capitalist, how communist are they? The problem with communism was, the initial problem was that it became nationalistic. I mean, after Stalin purges the Third International, there is not much left of the international itself, right? But here's another thing, and this is what I have conversations with the leftists in Pakistan. Go beyond Lenin and Trotsky and all the other people. The best Marxist thought right now is coming from the Italian workerist Marxists. Okay, it's like people like Franco Berardi, right? People like Carlo Vercellone. All these people who post 1968 gave up on the central idea of a central hierarchy, and became autonomous, right? So, and there's a beautiful book by Franco Berardi called The Soul at Work, right? So if you read that, you will already realize that what Chinese are doing, it's not really Marxism, or communism.